Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for checking out Going Deeper. I'm your host, Matt, and I've got a great show planned for you tonight. You'll know my guest tonight from her appearances on such films as
Junge Debutantinnen 49, Frische Muschis and Hauptstadtporno. 7.
And you can find links to all of her social media in the episode description below, but I really want to recommend you go and check out her OnlyFans at MILF Texas Patti. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming a real American cowgirl, Texas Patti. Patti, how are you tonight?
Oh my God. I'm doing great. I guess that was the best intro ever. I fucking love it.
Thank you. I thought about it. My wife actually took 3 years of German in college, I believe. So I brought her over to your IAFD, Internet Adult Film Database, and went through some of the old ones, and I went, what do these mean? And she goes, I don't think they taught us a lot of those words in college. So I was like, yeah. And then when I translated them, I went, yeah, I get it why I wouldn't want some teacher saying all these things to you, regardless of how old you were.
Yeah.
Patti, can you walk me through it? How'd you initially, what was your first entrance into the industry in whatever form it was, whether it was stripping, camming, filming, whatever it was?
Sex with my husband.
Well, sure. Yes. Yeah, that would make sense.
No, it was really like I'm coming from a background like from the lifestyle and swinger scene. And short story, we went to a swinger club. There was a production going on before the swinger club was about to open, and the producer was still there. And he was also a swinger, but also like producer for porn, and he watched different couples, and then we had a drink at the bar, and he just asked us straight away and was like, hey, do you ever think about doing porn? And we're like, no, we're not doing that. So, but this was literally the first touch and the first time that we get in touch with porn. And then we met other couples, they did the amateur stuff, and they told us, hey, just do it, it's fun. Same like the swinger style, you publish your pictures on those swinger sites for free. On those sites, you publish your pictures as well, but you get paid. Where's the difference? And I thought, like, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I was going to just say the difference is none of the traffic is coming to you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, and to be honest, really the first time ever was referring to a small production company in Germany who was kind of specialized only for amateur porn, a scene with Patrick and me. Like, Patrick is my husband, sorry. Like with Patrick and me. And we get paid. Should I say the amount?
If you choose to, you know what? Say the amount so I can react to it, and I will bleep it out on the show.
I don't even know. You know, you can't, I don't fucking care.
Say the amount.
Okay. So we got paid for the scene, both of us. We got paid for the scene $200.
Okay. That's.
When I think about this right now, I'm like, shoot me.
If I told you in 2024 that a piece of your content is only worth you getting paid that much, I would get slapped in the face in person, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Daddy, I wanted to book you for a scene. It's going to be this. It's going to be about 200. Okay. Thanks. I'll leave now. nice to meet you. So.
Yeah, that was the start.
I love the story of your name only because you mentioned Patrick before, and I believe it was a combination of your name, right? Were you? Okay. Are you Patti by yourself and then Patrick, or is it Patricia and then what's the combination there?
It's like Bettina. That's my real name, and I know people are like, "Oh, don't say your real name." Google me. What my real name is all over. So Bettina is my real name. And then Patrick, and then everyone calls me Betty. So, and Patrick, everyone calls Patrick just Pat. Mm-hmm. So we would put Betty and Pat together. And here we go, Patti.
Nice American name. And then I love the story. I heard you talking about it because I try and do my background research where you go, what is the most American thing And then apparently you went Stars and Stripes, Texas. Is that it?
It is really like this.
Yes.
I know. You know what? I choose the name. Like, and also it was because easy to write for German people. There's no underscore or like whatever. Easy. So I choose Texas. That was like one thing. And the other, that was kind of accidentally. I tried to convince people that it was on purpose, but it wasn't. In the word Texas is the word sex inside.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, yeah, I tried to tell them like, oh, yeah, I'm super smart ass. I wasn't. But nice to have it, right? In Germany, the most people also don't know about the states. So the most people in Germany, when I say like Texas, oh, that's where all the casinos are, right? Okay, that's more Vegas, but okay, it's fine. So, to be honest, easy to write. Texas, everyone knows. Okay, that's fucking USA. Stars and Stripes, boom, here we go. And that was the whole story about it.
You know what? I know it sounds really weird for me to say this, and like I'm a stupid person or crazy, but the X in it makes it feel pornier to me, a little more porn, like Texas Patti, you know? And it was funny. I told my wife, I was like, I'm interviewing this woman today named Texas Patti. She goes, why didn't she go with Patti, Texas? That's my question. How come you didn't go with Patti, Texas?
I can't tell you. I just thought, because I had the same, when I started, everyone's name, you have like periods of names, you know, also like in the porn industry, you can literally say when someone has this and this name at what year they started. It's with the regular names as well, you know, they are like the short names, only like 5 letters, 4 letters was like 80, something like this. So in porn, we had kind of the same. And in the year where I was starting, it was sexy, did it, sweet, did it, cute, did it, and then weird numbers behind it, which I never get. And I thought like, oh no, we have to choose something else. We were not in this time frame where you have like a first and last name and porn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sure.
And I really thought it sounds better. Yeah. Like Patti, Texas is not smooth to say.
I agree with you. Yeah, Texas Patti. As I was saying it, why didn't you go with Patti, Texas? I was like, oh, because that sounds worse. I answered my own question on that one.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good.
Okay, so I do want to talk about your German career as well, because it's funny. You came here and you were already a huge German star, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you come here and at first, or I guess you may have had all your connections and establishments and everything else ready, had anybody thought or reached out to you to book you thinking you were maybe like a blonde woman from Texas with like a giant ass and huge chest? That's what I think of when I hear Texas Patti. I think of blonde, busty, American, curvy in all the right spots. And you are the opposite, which is refreshing. But I wonder if any producers were like, let's try and book her, blah, blah, blah. And then they see, and they're like, wait, she's German too? Did you have any confusion when you came to the U.S. over who you were with anyone?
A lot.
Okay, a lot.
Really, a lot. I remember my first convention, you have always the roll up, like the banner behind you, right? Name on the top. People looking at it. They go, oh, you're a Texas Patti. I was like, yeah, that's me. And then you could literally see the look at you. Are you from Texas? And I was like, no, I'm not from Texas. You have a weird accent. Where are you from? Germany. And in the beginning, I was, to be honest, kind of ashamed.
Really?
Because there was so much explanation. How stupid is this German girl? Call herself Texas Patti, but she is not from Texas. So in the beginning, I was really like, oh my God, is that a bad thing? I mean, I invented this fucking name so long ago. I never thought at that point that I will one time move over to the US. So it was a weird feeling. But let's say after a year or so, I was super confident and thought, like, to be honest, people will remember that.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, I mean, when production companies book me, they have pictures, they see me, they know what they buy, literally, right? Then when I'm on set and I open my mouth, it was more like, that's weird. This is not a Texas accent.
Is that a West Texas accent? I've never heard it before. I don't know.
Yeah, kind of this stuff. And then I explained every time, and people were, oh my God, that's interesting. And it doesn't matter where I go right now. People really remember that.
Sure.
They're like, oh, that's Texas Patti, but she's from Germany. Okay.
I have a question. Did any of your German fans resent when you came to the U.S., or were they just excited for you? Because one of the things I read, and I do want to, I'm bad at organizing thoughts, by the way. One of the things I want to talk about is when you did decide to come to the U.S., what I had heard you say before was porn in the U.S. just felt more glamorous, or felt bigger, or more special, something along those lines. Did you ever hear, did your German fans want you to come to the U.S. and start doing these scenes that you view as more glamorous and bigger? Or did you get resentment like, oh, why'd you go shoot American scenes? Da 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 da.
I would say so and so. I had a lot of people who said, oh my God, you really did it? Like, you were there. You were one of all the porn stars in Germany who actually really did it. Not only went to the US, maybe shot 1 or 2 scenes or shot for international brands. No, you moved over. This is such a big thing. And the market is different. The German market is super different to the US market. And I had also people, sometimes when I do live streams, they just text in German, speak German, you're from Germany. And then I try to explain them, listen, I can still speak German. This is not the problem. The problem is more the audience is international. And I would say everyone speaks English, because in Germany we learn it in school, for example. And I would say it's the most, next to Spanish, I would say, most spoken language like in the world. So this is the reason why I speak English. On some people Germans were like, I think that's not right. You're German, and right now you're acting like an American. I was like, I'm not acting like an American only because I speak the language. I'm not. I'm still German, right? My blood is German. Like, I'm super German. I'm like on point. Don't be too late. Like this person.
You know, my father's German. My last name's German. And my mother, all through my life, would just say, your father's very stern. He's very somewhat, no, you've been laughing and smiling the whole time, but very serious, stoic. It wasn't like, oh, we're German, so we have to feel this way. She just always associated, she was like, German people are very businesslike. Less emotion, perhaps. Because, that's what happens when your dad never hugs you. You start feeling like he has no emotions. So what I was going to ask you, Patti, is can you clear up some of the misconceptions? I've heard you talk about this too, but my audience maybe hasn't heard it. Can you help clear up some of the misconceptions about German porn? Because I'll tell you, anytime a shit porn joke has ever been made, the joke is, oh, it must have been German.
Okay, I will explain why that is. Because there's a super simple explanation. And the explanation is, it's allowed. It's not against the law in Germany. And this is the reason why the most super nasty stuff is coming from Germany. But to be honest, Scandinavia countries are just behind us. So it's just allowed. This is the only reason, and this is why it is like it is, and why people think it's only a thing in Germany. It's not only a thing in Germany, it's all over the world, but you can't publish it. For example, super simple. I mean, for me, I don't know if I can say that. If not, just tell me. Like in Germany, peeing stuff,
you're fine.
Peeing in public or something, it's a thing. People love it, and it's easy, quick content, right? And for sure, I do this stuff because I'm a person that drinks a lot of coffee. So sometimes you're like, oh man, I need to go, I need to be. And then you're like on a parking lot, pee in the bushes, and you film it and make money off it. Yeah. Great. That's my life.
My view is always, and I don't know how you can be in this industry without having this view. As long as everyone's over 18 and there's no dogs in the room, I'm fine with it. I don't care what you do. That's fine with me. No kids and no dogs, okay?
Exactly. This is what I'm saying. Like, if people sign up for the weirdest shit ever, hey, go for it. I don't have to look at it. If I don't like it, I don't like it. And I don't have to buy it, sell it, watch it, whatever. So this is, for example, super easy thing, which is like butter and bread for German porn sites. Sure. And then OnlyFans was there. And I tried to post this on OnlyFans. And they were like, again, the regulations, like, what the fuck? But if you pretend you're squirting, then we are good. I'm like,
it's so...
This is the best double moral ever.
It is. The relationships between social media and these sites and everything else and reality, like if I I couldn't post a picture. If my wife posted a topless picture, it would be pulled, she'd be banned, she'd be whatever. If she was Kim Kardashian, they would let it go for a while and then maybe put a filter over it and allow you to do whatever. And it's like, hey, rules for everyone. And I feel like they treat you sex workers terribly. You're not even talking about social media. You're talking about the environment that should be built for you, OnlyFans, you know? I would think the platform would be better served by saying, as long as there's nothing illegal on this, pissing in public, well, some places might be illegal, but not there. It was not illegal. So I understand that. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, but this is really more why people think it's a thing only in Germany, and Germans are super famous for peeing, pooping, and whatever crazy fucking shit. The only explanation is it's legal, so we can publish it. And this is why the most girls, guys, or whatever who you see who are doing this, Germans, because it's legal.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Simple explanation.
Don't worry. We film our own shit porn in this country. We just can't put it out.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. Absolutely.
I've seen it on Twitter plenty of times. Then you got to go mute because I'm like, look, I like your other content. I can never look at you the same way again, though. So we're just going to kick that one off.
Do you have that gotta finish feeling that just won't quit? Would Mistress be disappointed in the seed you've spilled? Now might be the time to try Guntrax. Guntrax, the first clinically tested YWF2 ejaculate inhibitor, allows mommy's pay pigs to pound all day without the complications of post-nut clarity.
Side effects include loss of income, loss of home, loss of family, backed up prostate, homicidal rage, and dry basketball shorts.
So if you're a quick shooter with a family that you're ready to ignore, talk to your doctor and see if Guntrax is right for you. Guntrax. Keep it in all night and get back to gooning for a goddess. Brought to you by yourworstfriend.com.
When the world tells you to go away, stop, leave, go. Don't. Instead, just come. Come, the new fragrance by the podcast that made you squirt. Available now at yourworstfriend.com. Come here, come there, come anywhere. Just come.
So let me ask you this, though. Regulations-wise, I know this is a real sexy term to take, regulations on a porn set, but Are the shooting rules different or maybe not rules, but how do
they are.
Okay, how do the things like like testing protocols and whatever else rules you have on American sets, how are they different on German sets?
So let's start in testing. I mean, I did 5 years ago a comment which drove a lot of attraction to me and a lot of shitstorm. And like, I try to make it super clear right now that nobody understand me wrong.
Well, that
in Germany,
that's why you should be allowed to talk, so you can be clear about it. That's why things like canceling people right off the bat ain't good. Let's hear the full thing. Yes, please.
Yeah. In Germany, we have a problem with testing. We have testing, but you have to go to a doctor. That's literally what you have to do. We don't have testing facilities like you guys have here. Sure. And then in Germany, we have other regulations like laws. So here, for example, for the people who don't know how it works, here in the US, we have to go 2 times a month, like 14 days each single 2 weeks, like we have to go for testing. Sure. Different facilities, you just go there. They're all approved by our industry. You go there, you give pee, blood, swab, 12, 24 hours, depends. Later, you get the result via email or via an application. So you can pull it up. There's a QR code. Other people can scan the QR code to make safe, like everything is legit. Point. In Germany, it's not possible because data, which is related to your health, can't be transferred in the internet.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just illegal. It's an issue. They don't want that. Let's say someone is sending a test through the internet. It gets wrong because email address, wrong spelling, whatever. And worst case scenario, this guy has HIV or like syphilis or whatever, and someone else get the whole data with like this result in his mailbox. That's the worst. What can happen?
Yeah, you're outing someone for a medical condition. We have HIPAA laws in this country, but we're a little more lax, I think. Like your doctor can say things, but I know you can transfer stuff digitally, certain things, yeah.
Exactly. And this is, I mean, I appreciate that. That is, for me personally, it's perfect because you just go there and a day later you just receive it in your mailbox. In Germany, you have to go to your doctor. He is taking the swabs, everything the same. Then you have to wait a special amount of time for the laboratory to get the result, which is usually 4 to 7 days.
Okay.
And then you have to pick it up in person.
Man.
So you see, the whole effort you have to do for get a test is so much more. So in Germany, we have a rule, which is our test is usually valid 4 weeks.
Okay.
And people when I did this statement and I did it without any explanation, that was my fault, because I said in the US, 2 weeks, Germany, 4 weeks. And then, oh my God, I will never shoot with her again. She's only tested all for. I'm not. I'm tested when I'm in the US 2 weeks, but in Germany, it's not possible to get tested. Literally, we are also tested each second week, but because of the delay of the laboratory, it turns out to 4 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
100% I understand what you're saying. And it's crazy that people would twist that to sound different than it is, but it's not. It was probably people looking for attention or someone angry at you or somebody that wanted something you got. Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah.
Sure, the typical way. So testing, this is the reason why I say it, like, it's kind of an issue. We don't have, because of laws, this excellent working system like we have in the US, and I really appreciate it here.
It's just not as convenient, it sounds like. It
isn't.
And I'll let you continue, but does that slow down the amount of porn that's shot then? If it's
I mean, in Germany, the professional shot porn is dead.
Wow. Interesting.
Not there anymore.
Mm.
And this is also related because of the companies. I mean, I started everything 16, 17, 18, I don't stop counting after a while, years ago. And I was contracted with one of the biggest companies and the biggest player back in the days in Germany. The company called Videorama, biggest players. They sold all the stuff here to America. It was crazy. They made crazy money. But the dude was an old guy.
Okay.
And he was super huge when VHS was there. He was charging for one cassette. For the viewers who don't know, like this is like
old technology
before everything else.
Yeah.
So he was charging for one cassette 500 Deutschmark, which is around about $1,000.
Insane. That is crazy.
It is. So he was rich as fuck. Really. And it was not, they produced one movie and then they had a room. In Germany, we don't have air conditioning because it's usually cold.
And you guys aren't fighting obesity like we are in this country. So yeah, you don't sweat as much. I understand, coming from a sweaty guy right now. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, no, it's really different for us. We don't have air conditioning. I don't want to say we have air conditioning for sure.
Normalized.
Exactly. Here you go, when you live in California, when you enter an apartment, what? You know, air conditioning? Like everyone freaks out. In Germany, oh, here's air conditioning. Like, oh, wow. So it's the opposite. And this room was full of these VHS recorders who were like copying from one to another. And because of the heat, right now nobody can understand, because right now if you charge something, there's no heat anymore. Yeah. But back in the days, there was a lot of heat. There was like ventilation and all the stuff.
For sure, yeah.
So they had air condition set up in this whole room, 5 pieces, to not overheat everything.
Wow.
And like after a day, one guy get in, changed all the cassettes. I mean, bought a fucking cassette for like $2 or something. Put it in again, original cassette in, transfer again, put all the cassettes out. And there was like a guy with a car, put all the cassettes in a car drove away with the seller. And he was like to all the porn cinemas and sold them. And he made just a crazy amount of money.
Yeah.
But you have also to think about, back in the days, it was also expensive to produce those kind of movies because you need the camera. Right now, everyone has an iPhone and can film by themselves. It was not possible back in those days. So camera were expensive. The recorder, like to watch it, were also expensive. They were like roundabouts, it was another currency back in the days, but it was roundabout $1,500, like one recorder, which was a lot of money back in the days. Yeah. And so not everyone could afford it. He made a fortune.
Wow.
And then DVD was there.
Yeah.
And you could see it was still okay, but it went down because DVD players were affordable.
Right.
You can buy in sometimes in a fucking grocery store for
nothing. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Still a lot of money.
And yes. Yeah.
So much cheaper than a VHS recorder. So it turned out with every new item which was released on the market, like the numbers went down because it was accessible for everyone and not for special people. But he was an old school guy. And at one point I was sitting there and his name was Horst Peter, super German name. And we talked to him, and really this scenario, a long table, he was a short guy, glasses on, lightly colored in blue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Tinted. Yep.
Then this Florida kind of floral printed, whatever, buttons open, breast hair, golden chain, little dog in his arm. Really, and I'm not kidding. You can Google him.
100% believe it. Yep.
And my husband and me were sitting at the end of the table, and we talked to him. And we told him, listen, the thing is, world is changing. And he had like rights of the biggest stars in Germany, exclusive rights, all the DVDs, everything. So we tried to explain him, we have to convert them. We have to make them like digital. And then we have to create a website where people stream, download, or something like this. And he was asking legit question, how do they pay? And I said, there are payment systems. People can pay with credit card or PayPal or everything else. And then we have this situation, was sitting there patting his dog, looked at me. I was, 30 at that point, and said, kiddo, nobody will ever pay with a credit card in the internet. And trust me, the internet will not survive in this world. And then I said to Patrick, listen, this is a sinking ship. We have to find another company. And really, that happens to them. Bankrupt.
But I have to ask, what year was this? Rough guess.
Oh my God. 13, something like this, 12, 13.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So the internet was already pretty well established and people were using it, but okay. I thought you were telling them this in like 1996, and I was like, oh, you're a sightseer. Tell me what the lottery numbers are tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I would love to. No, the internet was there. It was still slow, and we were and Germany was behind. You guys were really good in internet back in those days. Fast, super fast. In Germany, it was still slow. So to watch a movie, it was kind of annoying. And I understand his point. But I also told him, listen, like, watch over the sea. They already do it. It's not that I'm like the Wizard of Oz or something like that. Like, I'll never see that. Yeah.
You were just looking overseas and seeing what they were doing. That makes, and I bet there was a lot of people that got left in the dust though. Every time it changed too, probably, right?
Yeah.
Like what was before VHS, or wait, what was it? VHS versus Betamax, and VHS was where porn went, and then everything went with it. The same thing happened many years later with Blu-ray, and then they had they had HD DVD at one point, and then HD DVD went away, and oh
my God, I remember so hard. It was in the porn for us, because I think also the porn industry is kind of the industry who tries out stuff. And then if it doesn't work in porn, it will never ever work. You know what I'm saying?
Well, in a way, even just filming or anything like that, no offense, and it shouldn't be because it's all numbers, but you guys are on a much smaller set than an Avatar movie or something like that. So if you're trying out a new camera, new lighting, new something like that, it does make sense, I would think, to start on a smaller thing. And then once you guys prove this works, this lighting looks beautiful, this looks whatever, Hollywood comes along and goes, oh, we invented this. Here you go. Look, see, it's in all of our movies from now on. So I don't think the porn industry gets enough credit for what they do. But then that makes me interested.
Tuesday. This Tuesday, come on down to the YourWorstFriend.com arena and see Glam Slam. Come see all of your favorites, including Pinealius, Thyrulium, and Pancreosa. What happens when Ovarium leaves her homeworld to clash with the beast himself, Testosaurus Sex? Go to yourworstfriend.com now for tickets.
What type of content am I going to find on something like your OnlyFans at MILF Texas Patti? What type do you produce? Everything.
Really everything. I still produce porn in German.
Okay.
German language. To be honest, most of the time with my husband when I'm here, because less German speaking people here. So when I produce here with other talents, like content trade wise, for sure, it's in English. Sometimes we do this funny stuff, teacher German, stuff, which sells also good. And US people, I don't know, they're obsessed with the accent and with the German language because they think it has something super naughty. I don't know. I guess it's because it's my first speaking language. I think it's just normal language. But I understand because in Germany we have the same with French.
Oh.
If someone is speaking French, it's kind of the love language. Okay, German is not the love language, don't get me wrong. We are more like the BDSM language.
I didn't want to interrupt you. I was going to say, when I think of German as the love language, I think of it more as a very stern woman with much latex letting me know how shitty I am at being a man. That's what I picture. So interesting that it's...
That's us.
Yeah. So, again, you hit the top over there. I believe you won quite a few Venus Awards, right, in Germany? Mm-hmm. And then you decide, what? I need more challenges? Or did you see that the direction was going negative over there? Or, how? Talk me through it, your move to the U.S.
I would say it was both. It was, at that point, I was working for a television channel. In Germany, we have different regulations. It's still softcore. So I was producing and performing as well for a German TV channel. I was the ambassador. So I did like interviews in the German TV. Most of the time porn related, but super softcore. Sure. I produced also movies for this TV channel in softcore and hardcore. And at one point, I was just bored, to be honest, because I love, again, the name of the company is Beate Use. I love them still from the bottom of my heart. Every time when I see them in Germany, they are like, oh my God, they are more family, really. And it was a super tough decision. I earned good money. Everyone was super nice to me, but I'm a person, I need challenges. And there was nothing anymore. And I don't want to be the person, the feeling when you feel too safe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, comfortable. You're comfortable. Yeah. They say something about comfort. Comfort. No, I don't remember what the saying is. Go ahead. Comfort.
But you know what I mean. If you're feeling super comfy with something, you don't put any effort inside because I can do it.
Complacent, maybe is the word. Maybe where you're just going through the motions. Yeah. Like if I have a day job and I'm not going to be asking for extra projects and this, and I'm just going to do what you put in front of me. I'll get it done. Hey, can't complain. My work's all done. But in your industry, it's so much about passion. That did you start seeing it on any of your footage where you were like, oh, I don't think I was into that one? And it's no offense to the guy or anything, but you need a challenge, and this is no longer challenging to you.
Yeah, I was super quick on those sets back in the days. It's always the same. It's always the same guys. The group of the people who really are good performers are the same. Production are the same. Cameraman is always the same. I mean, I love my cameraman, don't get me wrong, but everything was so normal, like a daytime job. And at that point, and Patrick came up to me and said, I don't see any fire in your eyes anymore. This glim is going out. And I said, there is no challenge. I'm doing the same shit over and over again. And I learned a lot, but I remember back in the days, everything was set up. I had my mic in my hand, and when the camera man was like rolling, my heartbeat was like this. And when I was about to quit, I was like, are you rolling? Yeah. Okay. There was no heartbeat. It was just, okay, let's do it.
Right. Like, well,
which is a good thing, but also like a bad thing, to be honest.
It's too comfortable, right? So if
Exactly.
I do too many of these interviews with people and it's just too basic and I'm not getting anything interesting out of it, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
You know, money's fine,
Yeah.
but I'm sure I could make other money elsewhere. You know, it's funny 'cause I
Exactly.
don't make any money off of this, but it is passion. Okay, it's passion.
Yeah. So it was really about that Patrick and I sit down and I said, listen, I can do my retirement here,
Sure.
which is fine because they love me. I love them. Perfect. Easy peasy. But this is not the way I want to go. This is not the end of the street. Like, I want more. And then Patrick was like, okay, let's go over to the US. And I just said, yeah, let's have a look. So we went to the ABN show and super naive. We had tickets and we just went through the show and went to agencies. And then I said like, hey, my name is Texas Patti. I'm a performer in Germany at 12 years, whatever. And can you sign me? And then those agencies looked at me and was like, no, can't sign you. And I was like, why? Because you need paper. Oh, I'm working on that. Okay. Because from Germany, you need like papers that you can work in the US because otherwise like you illegal. Sure. So I said, yeah, I have a lawyer. I'm working on that. And nobody believed me.
Really?
Really nobody. Everyone was like, she's the weirdo. And I really was working on it. I had a lawyer, a friend referred me to, said, hey, he was also German. Back in the days, it was Steve Holmes. And Steve said, listen, go to this lawyer. He's a good guy. He took care of me. He took care of a couple of other adult stars, which are not like from the US. So check him out. And I did it. I was working with him. I submitted everything. It was a lot of work, I have to say, because people sometimes underestimate it because they think, oh, it's just a signature. It's fucking not. You need a lot. But nobody took me serious. And this was, I guess, the first time in my life that I understand that people from the US are different to than German people. Because if we say we do, we do.
and what you experienced was a manager that heard that same thing, or an agent that heard that same thing 1,000 times from 1,000 people.
Yeah.
What bothers me is like if I was a film director and I went to go talk to agents in Hollywood and whatever, go, hey, I'm working on getting my papers to move here, but just so you know, I won the Cannes Film Festival last year. Like, I am a real movie maker. You, again, are coming over going, hey, I'd like to be represented. By the way, I did all of this before. Look how incredibly serious I am about this industry. Can you sign me? Yeah, right. You'll probably... I don't understand that. You had the backing. So they had just been... I mean, they must have just been jaded to having heard, I'm working on that.
Yeah. It was because right now, after a couple of years, for sure, I am a person. I don't forget faces. And I know who said no. But right now, I talked to them a couple of years ago, and I said, do you remember when I just came up to you and asked you to sign me? And they were like, you know what? So many people come up to us. AVN is the world's biggest adult convention. Sure. People are coming from all over the world. They coming to our booth. They try to introduce themselves. Everyone is the best of the best. everyone get his shit together. Everyone wants to move here, and everyone has the best lawyer, and nobody comes back.
Yeah.
And I was, after those years, I can see that and I can understand. But because I also had so many people who asked me, how did you do it? How did you get there? And there's a little loophole because you need an agency to get the visa.
Yeah.
But no agency want to sign you without a visa. You know, it's
It's
like
crazy. Yeah, it's one of those catch-22s where it's just like, I don't know where to start because this thing is eating its own tail, you know?
exactly. Yeah. So I understand those companies, those agencies back in the days completely, but I was also super disappointed. And I mean, at the end of the day, I found a great agency. I'm still with them. I'm still with OC Modeling. And still with them. And Sandra said, like, okay, that's right. Sign the contract. If you don't get the visa, it's...
Sure. It's null. Yeah.
That's true. I was like, fair deal.
It's funny when you said, don't worry, I didn't forget their faces. I heard my mom in the back of my head going, that's the German in her. That's the cold German in her, my Irish mother. So do you keep tabs? Oh, you said the German porn industry's dying. I was going to say, do you ever keep tabs on any stars over there that you think could work in the US? No.
Okay. It's maybe there, especially Germany. No.
Okay, fair.
If we speak about Europe, yes.
Sure.
But especially German, no. Because the German industry also shifted a lot. And I understand at one point there is webcamming. There is so many other stuff. Right. They can just do it from home, recording from home, be in their own environment. They don't have to travel. They don't have to spend nights in airplanes, trains, cars, hotels, or whatever. Super comfy life. And I understand when people choose that. And trust me, I love my life, but to see an airplane from the outside give me kind of an anxiety. Like, oh no, I don't want to do that again. So after a while, and this is superhuman, I guess, we get bored of stuff, what we have to do over and over again. I mean, my first flight to the US, oh my God, I was freaking out right now. I think like, oh my God, 12 hours. So, for sure, that changed a lot. But I understand also that girls tell, like, listen, I earn the same money if I'm sitting on my sofa instead of traveling, going to all the stress and
going to your doctor twice, like you said, like getting tested. Yeah. You film a solo video on your couch. Yeah. So I understand, and it's totally legit to pick a niche and say, I only want to do that. I would say we old porn people, we try to adjust. So we do kind of both. We're still doing the movies because I personally see it as free advertisement. Yep. Yeah.
It's not free because I get paid, but you know what I'm saying.
You get paid to advertise yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I love to be on set. It's really a passion of mine. I love my industry. I love the people to hang out with. And I love to shoot on set. And I love just the connection. I guess I'm fucking old school. So this is the reason why I'm still doing that. And I don't want to miss it.
I've done interviews that go both ways where some girls go, I love young girls too. So it's not just us old people. Young girls. Young girls too who have told me recently, I love being on a set. It feels professional. I feel like a superstar. Like if I don't have to figure out where the lighting goes, I walk. Yeah. I mean, you're the star. You don't have now. There's probably a good sense of accomplishment when you plan a shoot and you set it up and you direct it and you act in it and then it's finally edited and published and whatever. But man, that's a lot more work than just walking on a set and being pretty and ready to perform, you know?
Yeah, and sometimes it's this surprise. You know what I'm saying? People taking pictures, they do the video. You don't know how they edit. Mm-hmm. The most of the producer I know, and I know the style, how they edit stuff, but you don't know. And you don't care. I mean, you do care because it's but you know what I'm saying? You're not the person who's sitting at the end of the day there and your editor called you and said, Patti, what the fuck happens there? And you're like, what? The sound is bad. This is bad. Lighting is bad. Or like one camera was not working. Something like this. You come and you leave.
You come, you get paid, you leave.
True. And 2 weeks later, a month later, 3 months later, whatever, you get the results on a silver plate. And then you watch it and think like, oh my God, look how beautiful I am.
Well, let's see, the way I look at it is Texas Patti does all of this. This is Texas Patti's brand. What's nice about the big companies is this is Brazzers brand featuring Texas Patti. Ooh, I better go look up this Texas Patti. Oh, she has an OnlyFans. Oh, let me go sign up. MILF Texas Patti. Like, it is a great advertising tool because they have, you know, let's not get us both in trouble here, but they have a pretty big monopoly on this in the U.S.
It's not the U.S. It's in the whole fucking world.
Yep, that's correct. That is correct. I have to give a shout out. I asked you about any other performers overseas in Germany because there are only 2 performers I ever really followed. You are one of them from Germany. And the other one, I don't know if she is very famous or not famous. So I might be saying to you, hey, you ever hear this Brad Pitt guy? Like, he's a pretty good actor. I may say to you, one of the most famous names over there, but I only know her from a handful of videos that I love. Do you know, have you seen at all, this performer, Annie Angel?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's a combination of the tattoos. It's her eagerness to film. Like, she always seems to be having a great time, you know, and it doesn't feel put on. And I get a lot of that from your stuff too, where it's like, if you're not having fun, I couldn't imagine one of your comfortable, complacent scenes because you always look like you're putting in everything into your stuff. And I think that's what makes you such a great performer. Yes, you're beautiful. Yes, you understand the stuff behind the scenes, but passion is what flows through on the film.
Yeah. And I think also how someone looks, skinny, not skinny, blonde, black hair, it doesn't matter because it's always a perspective. Like, people see different. The passion is what makes this whole thing special. And Annie Angel, she's also a long time in the industry. Really? More doing her own stuff. I actually don't know if she was ever filming for other companies.
Interesting.
She did. Do you know?
I do not. I only know from the handful of clips I've seen of her on Reddit and then have to go seek them out and pay money for them, which I am more than willing to do.
Yeah. I think she is really only doing her own stuff, which I think it's fine, absolutely. But yeah, she is really a long time in the industry as well. But, and let's say in total, the last time when I went to the Venus convention, which is the same like the AVN show in Berlin, I was shocked. Yeah. So I'm also contracted with the Mind Geek company.
With the wait, the what company?
Oh, it calls My Dirty Hobby. So Mind Geek Geek. Oh, sorry, they changed the name to ILO, which makes it better.
I'm not even. I thought you said Meineke, the brake company. Oh no! I was like, how the fuck did they get you as a sponsor? Texas Patti, get your brakes fixed down here. Yeah, I was like, what the hell are we talking about here?
No. Mind Geek is like the whole, right? The umbrella, let's say. So, and on the Venus convention, I do moderation on stage and stuff for them. It was so funny. I have to admit that I'm super bad at names. I can't remember names. And but for sure, people I saw a lot of times, I remember names. I'm not so old. So I was on stage and I looked down in the audience, and there were like all these beautiful girls running around and advertising herself and autographs and whatever. So I don't know them. Like, how old are they? 18? They're just like, I don't know. And then it was really the first time where I thought like, oh my God, I'm doing that for such a long time. All the people who started with me, they just disappeared. They're not there anymore. And it's fun, but it's also kind of, I own that. I don't give a fuck. But even when I tell other girls, oh my God, yeah, back in the days, it was like this and this, it was like, oh my God, it sounds like my grandma.
I interviewed a 20-year-old girl probably a couple months ago, and at one point she's talking about something and she goes, blah, 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 blah. She goes, oh, that's just a phrase my generation uses. And I was like, oh, fuck you. What are we talking? You get out of here. I'm not on my deathbed here. What are we talking about? And technically, maybe she's in a different generation. That's not fair. Don't give me that one. That's terrible.
So you guys here in the US, you don't have it, but in Germany we have it. If you don't know a person, you will call him, for example, you say, can you please hand me this and this? In Germany, we will say, if you don't know a person, können Sie mir bitte das und das geben? If you know a person, it's like, kannst du mir bitte das und das geben? Sie, super, you don't know a person, you're like super strict, probably he is so much, she, he, whatever, so much older, or like it's your teacher, a guy in the bank or whatever. And du is like a good, your friend. Sure. A dude. And if you're in a fucking gym and someone comes up to you and said like, excuse me, sind Sie noch an diesem Gerät? You know that you're fucking old. So when you stay there, it's like, are you talking to me? Do I look so old? And I understand, because in Germany it's kind of a respect, to show respect, which I also appreciate that this doesn't get lost in this whole thing. But still, I understand what you're saying. Sure. You feel super old at that point.
When somebody that you thought was close in your age range, and then you realize you're actually closer to 50 than you are their age, that's an issue. Patti, we have to wrap up. I normally have all these games to play and everything else. You're just such a fascinating person. I've been a fan of yours for a long time. I think people need to go out. All right, let me do this, because I have another little surprise for you here. Ready? All right. I'm going to read what I wrote. We're going to wrap this one up. You can find links to all of Patti's social media in the episode description below, but I especially want to recommend her OnlyFans at MILF Texas Patti. Patti has an I at the end, in case you don't know. You should, but if you're a fan, you should know that. Go in the episode description, click all the links. Hey, one last thing.
Patti, vielen Dank, dass du heute Abend mit mir gekommen bist.
We'll see you next week.